Good morning, and welcome to Mindset Mondays with DTK. This is episode number 179 in an ongoing series of live broadcasts designed for folk who've already figured out the truth that the best way to get better at doing what you do is to get better at being who you are at your core. If you'll take just a moment and click share just beneath this video, whether you're on YouTube, LinkedIn, or Facebook, and take a moment to invite your friends, your colleagues, your community to join the conversation. The more voices, the richer the chat. Ah, well, all right. So out of quarantine, still in Colorado, finally been able to go outside. And though I selected this quote some time ago, it seems super fitting for where I am today, or where Elaine and I are. It's an energy management technique. And I think I originally learned it from Diane Dempster from Impact Parents, from Elaine's business partner. Turns out Peter Hawkins, one of the stalwarts in our industry, in the coaching industry, is also a fan of this. And I, after writing this, I found a note that I had about Peter's approach to it. So let me share. Energy management technique called BMW. And it has nothing to do with the car company other than the acronym is the same. BMW initially stands for Bitch, Moan, and Whine. Left to our own devices, and particularly it's true for me, I used to rattle on in a negative way and about whatever the challenge was that I was facing, whatever obstacle I'd encountered, I'd grouse on about it, even if no one would listen. And I'd still prattle on to myself. And man, that doesn't serve. And here's why. It's a great quote, allegedly from Seneca. How does it help to make the troubles heavier by bemoaning them? Too true, right? Short answer, it absolutely doesn't. And that's where the energy management comes in. That's where BMW comes in. At the time I heard about this, BMW was still offering just the 3 Series, the 5 Series, and the 7 Series. So when it comes to energy management, when you have something to kvetch about, here's what you do. It's very simple. Decide on a time frame, whether it's seconds, minutes, hours, even days. Set a duration, 3, 5, or 7, and then bitch, moan, and whine to your heart's delight, right up to the end of that time that you've given it. Get it all out, purge the negativity, get that feeling and those thoughts out of your head, end the energetic drain. The problem is if we don't give things a container, they just keep going. And with that energy leak plugged, then you can get back to being intentional, back to focusing on the present, back to creating your future. So play with it. Is there something that you're unhappy about, that you want to sound off about? Fine, go ahead. Bitch, moan, and whine about it for the next, say, 7 minutes. See what happens. You know, one of the concepts from coaching is the idea of clearing. And you set a container and give the client X amount of time to fill it completely, talking about or complaining about or bitching and moaning and whining about whatever the topic is. It's amazing when you give someone 3 minutes to go on about something just to get it all out. I'm stunned by how rarely people can fill that time with just bitching and moaning about something. And also, when we start saying the things out loud that are inside our head, it's amazing how much clearer the conversation becomes. So Peter Hawkins has an interesting spin on it. He splits it between the conventional or non-ecological BMW, blame, moan, and whine. He also talks about the idea of a renewable, sustainable BMW, breathe, move, and wonder. So in other words, it's not just the clearing, it's not just getting the bitching, the moaning, and the whining out, because it's simple and a powerful tool that honors the upset, gives it a container, and then you get on with living. Fine, that's the bitch, moan, and whine version. But the idea of breathe, move, and wonder. What do you replace the bitching and the moaning and the whining with? It's a great little way to look at it. And I love that idea of using the same acronym as a model for moving forward. Breathe, move your body, move yourself, and wonder around what's possible. So, getting out of the energy leak once it's plugged, replace that with something. Breathe, move, and wonder. So, question for you is, where will BMW serve you? Whether it's the bitch, moan, and whine to clear that energetic drain, or whether it's the breathe, move, and wonder. Where will this BMW idea serve you? And here's another important thing. I learned this from another Peter Hawkins presentation. Moving from cognitive insight, so you get an insight, fine, to embodied learning, to take it home with you, right? Teach at least one concept that you've learned within the next 24 to 36 hours. It's an important piece to move from cognitive insight and to embed that as embodied learning. Teach it. We as humans, the animals that we are compelled to teach that which we learn. The moment we learn a lesson, we're compelled, genetically, epigenetically, however you want to frame it, to teach that lesson. There's a reason, because that will move you from cognitive insight to embodied learning. So not only where will this BMW idea serve you, where can you take it and use it? Who are you going to teach it to? How are you going to take your cognitive insight into embodied learning and move it forward? I gotta say, as BMW is a motivational tool, not bitching, moaning, and whining, just doing. I like that. Lawrence, I'm glad you like the concept. It's a fun little tool, and there's always, for me, every time I use it, there's sort of a chuckle to it, and it takes the intensity and the sting out of whatever it is that I've been bitching, moaning, and whining about. Um, it's amazing how much even just a little chuckle, a little bit of humor will take us out of the sting of the situation. So again, how does it help to make troubles heavier by bemoaning them? Good God, we don't have to add any complexity, any difficulty, any extra weight to anything that we're navigating. There's enough going on for all of us as we emerge from whatever it is that we've been doing into what's new. Love that we've got another tool to clear energy links and even to breathe, move, and wonder, a way for us to actively move on. So this week, every time you're out and about and you see a BMW, remember the concept and find somebody to teach it to so it moves from insight to embodied learning. Have a fantastic week. Clear those energy leaks.